Here's your wrestling news for December 8th, 2024. We're kicking off with NXT Deadline as Javon Evans and Wes Lee open the Men's Iron Survivor Challenge, with Nathan Frazer out next, followed by Ethan Page. With Eddie Thorpe ruled unable to compete, the final man was revealed to be Femi, who changed the complexion of the match, and each man would score a point. Page and Evans stole extra falls, but Femi finished things with a double chokeslam on Frazer and Lee to take his score to 3 and win the Iron Survivor Challenge. Femi's return was done to perfection, as his arrival changed everything, with everyone selling that he was the biggest threat and needed to be stopped. Everyone looked good in this match, though Wes Lee suffered from lost momentum, as the favorite going in had no real highlights and just one fall to his name. Lee was also part of an unfortunate botch when Javon Evans attempted a stunner off the ropes onto Wes, but the timing was off, resulting in an awkwardly executed move. Later in the night, Lee and Evans brawled backstage after the young OG treated his loss too lightly, according to Lee. Meanwhile, a dejected Ethan Page shared that he didn't know what he could do next after losing the match, in the latest setback for All Ego since losing the NXT title. In the NXT Underground match, Jaida Parker pushed Lola Vice more than anyone else has in the stipulation, but Vice's experience saw her get the win. A spinning back fist was followed by Vice making Parker pass out in the Anaconda Vice, taking Lola to 3-0 in NXT Underground and solidifying the stipulation as her match. The two didn't hold back with physical spots, such as Vice missing a spinning back fist that saw her hand collide with the post, an injury she sold for the rest of the match. Parker took advantage by using Vice's belt to send her opponent's injured hand into the post multiple times in a particularly gruesome spot of the match. Even at 11 minutes, the match felt longer than it was, and the low lighting and physicality throughout makes for a format that should be short but full of memorable moments. In this case, there were some memorable spots, but the pair ran out of gas down the final stretch, and while this wasn't a bad match by any stretch, it struggled to reach its peak. Vice is back on track in NXT and could be next in line for Fallon Henley's Women's North American title, and while Parker should also remain important, it's time for a new rival. Myles, Borne, and Tavion Heights isolated the injured Nathan Frazer, who was selling the effects of the Men's Iron Survivor and had his nose and ribs bandaged up. Bronco Nima and Lucian Price arrived to watch and taunt the two teams, and while Axiom was left to go it alone when he was in the ring, Frazer tried to play his part. Still selling the pain, Frazer hit a somersault plancha on both opponents, followed by a 450 splash onto Heights that almost sealed him the win. One spot saw Axiom accidentally dropkick Frazer before taking a DDT TKO combo, and while he still managed to kick out, it seemed that the champion's reign was coming to an end. Despite this, Axiom caught Heights with a Canadian Destroyer and rolled up Borne with a small package for the 3 in a genuinely surprising result, as all signs pointed to a title change. If the champions can't lose when they're this vulnerable, then one has to ask when they will ever lose, and Frazer did a brilliant job selling every moment of offense as pure agony. His selling was a major highlight in a match that also showcased the No Quarter Catch Crew's least used members, who showed they belonged with their incredible offense. As for Axiom, he was the glue that held all these pieces of the match together and flew around the ring to make things work in the latest tag title defense for the champs. This match may have lacked the same heat as the rest of their matches, but the 4 men involved more than made up for it with their drama and wild near falls. The tag division needs to keep up with Fraxium, who have another win to their name, and it's unclear who can take the titles from the tag team champions. NXT champion Trick Williams came out with black tape on his neck, selling the effects of the beating he took during the latest episode of NXT. Holland taunted him about the injury before the match begun and thought he had Trick's number as he continued to target the neck of the champion. Holland even teased the released German suplex on the outside, the move that broke Big E's neck, but in the end, Trick turned things around and got the win with the Trick knee. This was better than expected, even if it did struggle to live up to the matches on the card prior, and while the psychology was there in spades, the energy was flat despite an invested crowd. There was a scary spot when Trick's dive resulted in his neck being caught up in the ropes, with fans speculating on whether it was a dangerous but planned spot or a botch in the match. The match never realistically sold the chance of Holland winning, even when he hit the Redeemer, and after Femi's victory, this result was a foregone conclusion. That's for the best, as Trick vs. Femi is the true top face versus top heel rivalry NXT needs, but Femi's return overshadowed the challenger on the night. It was always going to be tough for this match to live up to the excellent night of action we'd seen, and now Williams can look ahead to the Nigerian ruler. Before the main event, Ava announced that the Women's Iron Survivor Challenge winner would face Roxanne Perez for the NXT Women's title at New Year's Evil on January 7th. That show will be in Los Angeles, Ava also shared, giving fans a huge event, the first NXT show of the new year to look forward to. Tiffany Stratton made a surprise appearance in her hometown of Minneapolis and teased getting involved, fueling speculation of the first ever Money in the Bank cash-in on NXT Gold. Giulia and Sinclair started things in the match, trying to score technical pinfalls, and Ruca fitted right in when she entered. Zaria's arrival saw the other three women team up to survive the Aussie powerhouse, and Stephanie Vaquer's late arrival led to pure chaos in the final 10 minutes. Giulia and Vaquer teased confronting multiple times before they finally had the ring to themselves, and the Beautiful Madness won their exchange with a double underhook suplex. Zaria caught Sinclair with a spear in F5, but it was Giulia who floored Zaria with the G-trigger to get the deciding second fall and the victory. Giulia remains NXT's best new ace at a time of several major stars being signed, and her victory here could easily signal a new champion being crowned next month. These 5 women worked a different style to the men, with the opening trio focused on mat-based offense, while Ruca was able to pick up the pace in the final 10 minutes. Zaria proved to be the X-factor in this match, as her power and speed changed the action, and the new signing looked like the biggest star of the match next to some of wrestling's best women. Everyone in the match played their part perfectly, and while Sinclair ate the most pins, she still got a fall of her own to get close to standing even with a stacked group of opponents. This was a fantastic match that was more technically sound than the men's despite the late match chaos, and while there was no right answer for the winner, Giulia is certainly a worthy one. And that was Deadline, as the Iron Survivor Challenge once again proved to be a winning formula, with the women competing in their best Iron Survivor Challenge so far. The 5 women earned the main event, while the men's match also delivered, but the key to the match was the dominance from Femi. Everything in between was less exciting than the opener and the main event, but was solid, with the tag title match being sold by 4 incredible athletes. NXT Underground went long but delivered through its physical action, and the NXT title match did what it could, despite Femi's return immediately taking away Holland's spot as NXT's top heel. The show delivered and set the stage for 2 top title changes in 2025 that will rewrite the creative direction of NXT for the new year. At Turning Point, Matt Riddle debuted in TNA Wrestling to team with Zachary Wentz and Kushida to face World Tag Team Champions the Hardys and ABC's Ace Austin. While Riddle's team lost, his arrival certainly made a huge impression with the fans, and what's next for the original bro in TNA Wrestling? Fightful Select reports that TNA only found out that Trey Miguel, the originally planned ally of Wentz and Kushida, would not make the show on Friday, the same day as Turning Point. Riddle reportedly found out not long before the show that he was needed, with sources in TNA stating that the situation was far from ideal, but they weren't worried about finding a substitute. That's because Turning Point was a part of the WrestleCade event, and there were 100 or so possible replacements for Miguel, but the company went with Riddle. Those in TNA were said to be pleased with the reaction Matt received, but would not commit to using him again at this time, and he's yet to be advertised for any future TNA events. Riddle was cut from WWE in 2023 after a series of controversies, and do you want to see more of him in TNA, or will he only continue to cause problems like he did in WWE? Let us know below. Unless you've been living under a rock, you'll know that on January 6th, WWE Raw will premiere on Netflix, but fans outside of the US will get so much more. International fans will receive Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and PLEs, effectively replacing the WWE network that was first launched in 2014. This week, fans in the UK and Ireland received an email announcing that their network subscription had been cancelled ahead of the move to Netflix in a matter of weeks. The email does add that as a thank you, fans will receive complimentary access to the network until December 31st, but after that date, fans will need a Netflix subscription to enjoy content. WWE has big plans for the move to Netflix, with top names including John Cena being promoted for the debut Raw on the streaming giant from Inglewood's Intuit Dome. Are you excited for Raw's move to Netflix? How do you think this will change how fans absorb WWE content? Let us know down in the comments section below. And we're ending with Fenix, who hasn't competed on AEW TV since July, and a recent tweet by the Masked Star has raised a lot of questions about the All Elite promotion. Things started when a fan said it was wrong for AEW not to use Fenix, saying that Rey is being affected badly, and the Lucha Bro responded with, "I will have my chance to speak the truth." Later on, Fenix added, "No one stays at a place where they received inhumane treatment." And while he didn't mention AEW by name in this tweet, many fans saw it as aimed at the promotion. Earlier this year, it was reported that the Lucha Bros were set to leave AEW, potentially to join WWE, and while Penta has since exited, injury time has been added to Fenix's contract. Rey Fenix is waiting for the right time to share the truth about what's happened, and what do you make of his posts? Let us know in the comments, and thanks for watching.